Hello, it's Robin here from Palmerston North City Library, and it's another edition of Safe at Home with Books, and the theme today is ANZAC Day. Now I know it's been and gone, but I would like to ask if you took any photographs. Did you create some art for the front fence, or for the lawn, some poppies? Did you stand at the bottom of your driveway and remember people at dawn? Perhaps your street got together and had some sort of event in your street, observing the appropriate social distancing. If so, the City Library would love to have a copy of your photographs to add to Manawatu Memories. It's an online repository of photographs specific to our city. So, books and movies about ANZAC Day. There's plenty of non-fiction and fictionalised movies in Canopy and Beamer Film. You just go in and have a search, just put in war or ANZAC and it should throw up some appropriate movies for you. I found plenty. Beamer Film, in actual fact, has a featured collection entitled ANZAC Day. Books and audio books. Well, if you go into Libby and BorrowBox, they both have plenty of content. Once again, you just use the search feature, put in World War I or II, ANZAC, Bletchley Park, things like that, and it brings up plenty of content in ebook and e-audio form, in fiction and non-fiction. So while I was having a look through there, one book called Bess caught my eye, and Bess was a horse, one of 4 brought back from World War I. All the rest were left over there, and this book is aimed at children. It's written by Susan Brocker, and Bess is buried near Bulls, and she has her own memorial, and I understand that most ANZAC days people go out there to remember her. Now the other book that caught my eye was something just a bit different to the usual sort of war books. It's called Odyssey of the Unknown ANZAC by David Murray Hastings, and I'll just get the book review and read you part of that. So, 10 years after the end of World War I, the Sydney Sun reported that an unknown ANZAC soldier lay in Sydney Psychiatric Hospital. The man was found wandering in a London street, reported the paper. He said he was an Australian soldier, and he couldn't remember anything else. Thousands of Australian and New Zealand people responded to this story. The story tapped into a deep well of sorrow and uncertainty which had been covered up by commemorations of ANZAC heroism and honourable national sacrifice. More than a quarter of the ANZAC dead had no known resting place. So David Hastings follows this ANZAC soldier, George Mackay, from rural New Zealand through Gallipoli, the Western Front, through desertions and hospitals, and finally home to New Zealand. By doing so, he takes us deep inside the Great War and the New Zealand mind. I think it would be a fascinating story. It could be sad, but a lot of war things are. So I'd like to end with my first experience of ANZAC Day. It was in the late 80s, I was in my 20s. I was married to a naval rating and we were in Waiouru, and the Navy always went to Owakuni and the Army went to Taihape. So the dependents were all invited out to Owakuni RSA for the 10 o'clock celebrations. So I stood there with my son and we watched all our friends march down the street, and then we go around the corner to the RSA, and there weren't very many members, and they were, I thought, quite old men, and they made us really, really welcome, and what I thought was their granddaughters, who were older than what we were. We were all in our 20s. They cooked us a lovely meal and we felt so welcome. And then I had another look at the old boys, and they were really happy. Someone had come along with some squirt navy rum and had been given each of the old boys a tot or two. Oh, they were very happy. And that's all I've got to say about ANZAC Day. Thank you.